George and Kawhi Leonard on whether or not they can force a Game 7 against a tough Luka Doncic in Dallas. Stephen A., what's at stake for the Clips tonight?
Relevancy.
Caught in my hair, sorry.
Relevancy, and that's pushing it. I mean, listen. Kawhi Leonard, 1 minute you're hearing he's going to leave for South Beach. Another minute you're hearing he's going to stay in L.A. because he's got no desire to go elsewhere. But I got to tell you, Max, and Molly and Max, you guys have lived here. You know where I'm going. Mm-hmm. I mean, this town is just a different place when the Lakers are relevant. Yeah. I mean, the Clippers are, they're the equivalent of a high school environment compared to the NBA that is the Los Angeles Lakers. And for the Los Angeles Lakers to bow out in the first round, primarily due to injury, but you to bounce out in the first round because you get outplayed and completely destroyed by Luka Doncic because Dallas doesn't have much else. Not to disrespect anybody else. I like Jalen Brunson and his development. I like what I'm seeing from him. Tim Hardaway Jr. got a lot of love for him. Porzingis, don't get me started. I don't even want to get into him, okay? Luka Doncic is that dude. He's big boying everybody. Got my man Patrick Beverly on the bench, not even in the rotation because he's just too small for Luka Doncic. All right, Rondo isn't much bigger. He can't do anything with him. Paul George can't seem to do anything with him. He is big boying everybody. He's not supposed to be able to do that to Kawhi Leonard, and that's where my eyes are on. The dangling from the mirror with the crown. The new king has arrived in L.A. Yo, this is your time. This is your chance. I could see the Clippers winning tonight in Dallas and then going back and losing at the Staples Center Sunday for a fourth time in this series. A lot's at stake.
Well, I guess, the Lakers keep leaving the door open for the Clippers, and the Clippers just keep shutting the door. And this goes back, Stephen A., to Donald Sterling. You know what? If you say, who's the worst owner in sports, you have to think about it now. Because once upon a time, it was easy. It was Donald Sterling, and he owned the Clippers. And, the Clippers were always a punching bag. You think about CP3. Lakers trade successfully for CP3. League makes them undo it, sends them to the Clippers, basically. So they have Lob City. The Lakers are done. Kobe's at the end. There's no supporting cast. And here's the Clippers' time. They can't get it done. Now the Lakers get knocked out of the playoffs. Here it comes. Kawhi can at least, as an individual player, take over L.A. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. But the thing about the Clippers, Stephen A., is it's not like, they're a frog who's now Prince Charming, or vice versa. They're Prince Charming, now they're a frog. They've always been a frog. They've never been Prince Charming. It's not like, they're now going to turn back into what? What are they now? They're not the Lakers. They'll never be the Lakers. They've never taken over in any sense the imagination of the basketball world because when the Lakers give them the opportunity, they don't seize it. And this looks like another missed opportunity for the Clippers.
Well, they better handle their business because, listen, let me tell you something right now. Lakers, LeBron's already out there. He's going to try to recruit. And they're going to try to get somebody to L.A. There's no question about it, And again, we've already spent time talking about Damian Lillard. What if Damian Lillard ended up changing his mind? I tell you, he's told me for years he ain't interested. What if he changed his mind and decided he want to go to the Lakers? What if he changed his mind? It changed everything. So, the Clippers have a chance to be relevant.
Lakers.
As far as I'm concerned, Steve Ballmer should move to Orange County, move to Anaheim, or move the team to Seattle.
I love Orange County.
Seattle.
Orange County is lovely,
Orange
Molly.
I would live in Orange County in a heartbeat.
They love
Newport. Oh, my God. It's incredible. Laguna.
They love basketball up in Seattle, and they've had their hearts broken since their franchise was taken away. Great sports town. Bring them right back up to Seattle. But literally, when you say what's at stake in terms of that stuff, yeah.
And Stephen A., to your point, talking about living in L.A., people care more about USC than they care about the Clippers. That's just what it is in that town. All right, we'll keep it rolling. They wanted the Nets, and they got them. The Milwaukee Bucks will face the Nets tomorrow night as Brooklyn will host Giannis and company to begin the Eastern Conference semifinals, arguably one of the more exciting matchups we'll see these playoffs. Stephen A., what can the Bucks do to win this series?
Giannis has to be a superstar. He has to be a superstar. Those same numbers that you see from him during the regular season, he's got to do that in the playoffs. But here's what he has to do. He's the only person, first of all, nobody, in my opinion, really has a chance to do it. But if anybody has a chance to defend respectably against Kevin Durant, it's the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo. The length, the athleticism, he's got to show up, and he's going to have to be a formidable opposition to KD. Because let me tell you something, Kyrie and James Harden are going to do their thing, but I think collectively Milwaukee's defense could hang tough. I think KD is going to be the difference maker. You cannot let him destroy you at his will. Somebody's going to have to try to put him in check in order to knock off the Brooklyn Nets. That's what it's going to come down to.
The difference maker is going to be James Harden because he can run D'Antoni's system now with D'Antoni on the bench there under Steve Nash, except instead of second-rate weapons, he has KD and Kyrie. And by the way, guys like Joe Harris, his fourth option. This is what the Bucks can do, Stephen A. They can be very, very aggressive offensively early in the series. And the reason I say that is because early on, before I really believed in the Nets, their defense was the worst of all time. They're the best offense of all time, literally, per 100 possessions, and the worst defense of all time. And within 2 or 3 weeks, they had a respectable enough defense, sort of mid-pack defense. Well,
more
everyone
like
got healthy again, and they gotta and now they gotta get it together defensively. The offense is fine. I mean, it could be better, but it'll get better. The question is, has there been enough time for that defense to start getting connected? If the answer is no, the Bucks have to be extremely aggressive offensively early in the series especially, and maybe they can jump up 2 games to 1 and have a chance to win it. Because if they're not, the Nets will roll them.
All right, we'll keep going, guys. Earlier this week, we saw Trae Young take a bow, Stephen A. remembers, on one of basketball's biggest stages after knocking out the Knicks in the Garden. And Ben Simmons, triple-double, helping rout the Wizards at home, and now they'll meet each other. Max, bigger key to this series, Trae Young or Ben Simmons?
It's actually Ben Simmons. You know, Trae Young does the thing that's easy to understand. He scores, and that's very, very important. And he's fearless, and he scores from everywhere. Ben Simmons doesn't do that. He can't shoot, and Trae Young really can. You know what Ben Simmons does? Ben Simmons does, this is almost not hyperbolic. This is almost like literally just about every single thing else, as well as anyone who's ever played has ever done them. Think about that. He's an all-world defender. We'll remember Ben Simmons' defense a year from now. Can guard all 5 positions, many of them at a totally elite level. I keep bringing it up, has created more looks from 3 for teammates than anyone since entering the league. He has absurd handles for a guy who's 6'10". He's lightning fast. He has hops. He has superior court vision and is an all-time great passer. So he does every single other thing like at an all-time elite level except shoot. Give me that guy, Stephen A. Defense wins championships.
You're wrong. And you're wrong because when you look at a Tobias Harris, when you look at the Seth Curry, when you look at the defensive wizardry that you've pointed out on numerous occasions of both Ben Simmons and Thibault, then this is what it comes down to. It comes